Hi everybody, welcome to Conscious Conversations. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm the founder of the Transformation Center, which is based in Westport, Connecticut. And at the center, in addition to the individual transformation coaching and shamanic energy healing sessions that I do, we also offer a variety of classes, workshops, both online and in person. And they're really meant to help you discover who you truly are. That's the purpose of all the work that we do. And to consciously create a life that you love, which will involve transforming some of your limiting beliefs. There is work to be done, for sure, but I would love to meet you. So we're going to put up our contact information, and everything is on the website. It's transformationcenterct for Connecticut.com, and we'll have a calendar of events. You can register right online. We do have regular events every month. We have a shamanic clinic on Zoom, which is the first Tuesday of the month, or second Tuesday, I can't remember, but anyway, you can check on the website and you can register. That's a really good introduction to shamanism, so I definitely recommend that. And it's a community service, so there's no fee. You can just donate if you want to, so check that out. Yeah, and I'm really excited about the Conscious Conversation show. We've been doing this for a while now, and I just love meeting new people, talking to them about their journeys. So you can listen each week and see a different story and find out what's in it for you. What can you learn from my guest? So that's what that's all about. And I'm also excited because tonight my guest is Sage Osa. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Katie. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have this conversation. I'm going to read a little bit about you before we get started so our audience can get to know you. But I've known Sage for a while now, and I just love working with her. So I'm sure you will get a lot out of her story today.
Thank you.
Okay, so Sage Osa is an alchemist and healer, and we're going to put up her slide with her contact info as well. And she gently guides clients to connect with their inner wisdom and embrace divine guidance. Yeah, it's beautiful. And Sage believes that by opening the heart to love and awakening the spark of divinity within, each person can step into greater harmony with their soul's path.
Yeah.
That really is beautiful.
Thank you. I think a lot of us believe that.
Yeah, but you have a way with words that just makes it sound so, real and appealing. So,
thank you.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, so I love to start with the question, like, how did you get into what you're doing? What started it? That type of thing.
Everyone has a story of their evolution on this journey. Mine began 23 years ago through illness. I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer, and my son was 6 months old. Oh, wow. Yeah, and it was quite the journey. And I did the conventional, the chemo and the radiation. But I also feel I went into warrior mode and really tapped into a higher consciousness of how to heal myself, healing mind, body, soul. I did everything. I did an herbalist, I did energy healing, prayer, visualization. 23 years ago, they told me I was going to go into menopause. I said I don't want to. So I would visualize my fallopian tubes encased with titanium steel, way before visualization was ever a thing. So I feel like I was divinely guided. And it was pretty bad, but I feel like God gave me a second chance. And I had to really look at the dis-ease of my body and my life because I was living out of balance. And so I did a lot of work, mother stuff, mother wounds. And instead of going into what I didn't have, the relationship with my mom, I really transcended that into love and compassion for her. And that really, I think, because my disease was all up here, all around the heart chakra. And I think that was part of my healing journey, which catapulted me into energy healing work. And then through that, I started to connect with people on the other side the people that are on the tables. I also do mediumship now, intuitive readings with mediumship. And so it just progressed, Katie, one thing to the next.
Yeah, I do know. I think that's how it works normally, that you discover what works for you, and then you want to help other people.
Absolutely. You want to put it out into the world,
Yeah.
right? These are gifts and abilities that we want to share. We want to help. So I always find the healing arts very interesting because a lot of times it's about attracting people that need the support in one way or another, whether that's readings, healing. We all have these abilities. I really do believe that. It's just about activating them. Yeah. It's about really alchemy. That's a fancy word for saying transcending vibration. So instead of being in this 3D reality, which is the material polarization, love, hate, in, out, light, dark, we have to transcend our vibration so that we can activate those gifts within. Whatever that is, whether that's your intuition, your healing, and then share it and put it out into the world.
Yeah, because that's really what is meaningful for me, is that part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think for you and for most people that I speak with.
That's the fulfillment.
Yeah, the fulfillment. It's really like we feel like we have a mission to help other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think I also agree that we all have innate abilities, whether it's our intuition or our spiritual energy healing abilities, but we don't really know that. Nobody tells us that. And sometimes it takes something like what you experienced, a severe illness, to start to get that message.
Absolutely. And I learned so much. I truly believe that most dis-ease starts on the emotional level, and then it goes into the physical. Now, 9/11, we're not talking toxicity or bad water. We're talking about the way we live. When we're in alignment with the law of one or oneness, where we understand that each of us are all energetically one, and we start to treat each other that way, then we're living in accordance with natural law, right? Do no harm. And just understanding all of that, when we're in that, we can raise our vibration. I think about the Christ consciousness. He came, whether you're a Christian or not, it doesn't matter. He came to show us a way, how to turn the other cheek, how to live in accordance with understanding that we are one.
Yeah, whether you necessarily believe that Christ is divine or not, it's
Correct.
Definitely a way. It's a way to be more human in a way.
Absolutely, and I think that's where we're going. That is the evolution of this earth plane, is this fifth dimension, which really is a fancy way of saying heaven on earth, which sounds like a big calling or feat to accomplish, but really it's always here, this fifth dimension. It's about raising your vibration and living from that point of view.
Yeah, and about love.
And love, it's all
That is
about
the
heart.
vibration, right?
That is the vibration of the fifth dimension, is pure love.
Yeah.
I believe that is what God is right. We're of that. We're creating the image of whatever you believe God to be. For me, it's an energy. It's a benevolent energy that only has our best interest at heart. But what gets tricky is our personality comes in, our faulty belief system that limits us.
Yes.
And that's as you said, the work, if you will. Of being human, of being a spiritual being in the human body, is to transcend or be the bridge between the heaven and earth, is to live that. There's so many people that are called today, I find, fancy word for starseeds from other solar systems, whether that's Arcturian, Pleiades. For me, it's Sirius, so Syrian. We feel different. We feel like that is our mission. And I don't know how you feel about this. If you feel like you're a little bit, this is how you know, if at least this has been my experience, if you were called sensitive growing up, or you felt different, like you didn't fit in with your family or friends or school, you might be sensitive to alcohol or medication or fabric. There's a lot of kids coming in like this, and I really do my best to support them through working with their parents so their parents can understand this. They're here to make a difference. Yeah. They're here to be the light, to whether hold space, they come in with ancient knowledge, It's just an inner knowing. They come in with healing abilities. They come in as teachers, these kids, too. So whether you're an adult, a kid, but really we're all being called, I believe, that mission that you spoke about, to reflect the light for others. And whatever that looks like for you. But it's an inner calling, it's an inner knowing, and it is part of the mission.
I hear you, and I don't necessarily have all of those attributes myself, but I have witnessed it, and it's very powerful, and I think it's great that you're here to support the people who don't know, because we don't know what we don't know. So we might think something's amiss or something's wrong with us.
Something's wrong with us.
Or our parents think something's wrong, or there's all sorts of possibilities that can go awry. So it's so wonderful to just have that inner knowledge that all is good.
Everything is good. We're here for a purpose. Everybody has purpose. And I think it's an exciting time that we have agreed to come here on the earth plane, because where we're going is going to be magnificent. And it may take some time, although I'm not sure time really exists, but it's available to us now. And so the more we live in understanding this natural law, we're here to support each other. And I think it's really important. People may say, oh, really? Look what's going on in the world. It's anything but love. But I think it's important to remember what Christ did say of being in the world but not of it. And to me, for me, what keeps me to help me to be sane is to think about, don't get bogged down because I feel God has a plan. There's a plan. And if we understand that and don't dig in to this 3D polarization, right? Whether it's political, socioeconomically, we can look at all the injustices in the world. It's very easy to fall into that trap of picking a side. But then you just remain, because we're making someone wrong or bad, you're stuck in the 3D reality of this polarization. Versus be in it, understand it, but not of it, meaning elevate your frequency and trust. And continue to be the light.
I think that's it. Continue to be the light. Continue to be yourself.
Yes.
And to know who you are, which is a spark of the divine.
Yes.
And to have that trust that what you put out there is going to make a difference. I think that's really important, because I talk to a lot of people who say, how could I possibly make a difference with everything that's going on? My theory is this is how we do make a difference, is by being the best version of ourselves, which does mean letting go of those limiting beliefs that you referenced, clearing away the old patterns and all those beliefs, really, that were given to us that don't belong to us.
The messages we took in as kids that are subconsciously playing out. We loop. So we have a choice, especially 2025, I believe we have a big choice to make. Whether we want to loop in patterns and things that bind us and limit us, or we can evolve. We can every day step one step into our best version of ourselves. That's all it takes, is one step into that. Small step, and we will get there. And just to backtrack on your statement about one person making a difference, because we're all one energetically, when one person's consciousness raises, on some level, every single being on this planet, including plants and animals, we are truly all one. So if we start to think of it that way, wow.
Like the butterfly effect, for example.
Perfect example.
Yeah. And I've seen it. And work, you do a lot with family constellations.
Yes.
And I think that's another great example. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, so family/spiritual constellations is a tool or a healing modality that is very powerful, very impactful, with the premise that behind us there's, say, 1,000 people, right? Everything has a system, a family system. You have a system at work, friends. This family system, they made choices along the way. Energetic choices that, believe it or not, are still in that field, that family field. And believe it or not, it can have an impact on you because you picked it up in the field energetically. And this is very true for addictive behaviors. So we may see someone that has alcohol or drugs. but they're being loyal to a family member that was excluded in the past, which is so impactful. It's so powerful to understand that. And that person can energetically give that back because it doesn't belong with them. And it's wreaking havoc on their life and other people around them. So exclusions are very big in your family, and you don't have to understand. There's no way you're going to know everybody.
Like all the details or all the people.
It's just a way when you decide to do this, to do that kind of work, your family system will show up. And the spiritual piece is we open a field that's greater. So it's the mind of God or the God field, which when the person is working within that field, that's when they can become pure potentiality, the greatest version of themselves. Very powerful. I do it once a month at my office in Fairfield, and people are getting movement out of it. So what does that mean? They're moving, right? Because life moves, and we are in our own constellation. We take movements. We have choices to make. People are getting further movement or advancement, if you will, in the right direction with giving back some of this stuff or healing past family, intergenerational trauma, if you want to call it that, wounds.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of healing because I was actually able to participate in a couple of your sessions, which I thought were fabulous. And it's amazing how, the field is there to support us and the healing, and everyone plays a role. And it just feels like it's like a play unfolding almost, but it goes back in time. So it's like nothing I've ever experienced. So I would say it's helpful for anybody in any situation, feels like to me.
Yeah, and whether you want to do the work for your own family, you can get something out of it by representing as someone else's, a member of someone else's family, or just by observing. That's how strong this field is. And I feel like our ancestors show up because they want us to heal. And it goes back 7 generations back and 7 generations forward. I believe it goes infinitum because energy travels. You can't destroy energy. Even in my own constellations, I see great movement. And I didn't even know I was holding on to like a grandfather's plight of lack consciousness. And by giving that back within the constellation, he gladly took it. That provides healing for everybody, not just the past, but everyone in my family, current family. So, it's a very powerful healing technique.
Yeah, they'll feel the effect, and like we were saying, it's like when you start this in motion, then there's so many ripple effects.
Yes.
So, but you're doing the work, literally.
Yes.
But everyone is partaking in it. So I think that's another great example of how what we do makes a really positive difference.
Absolutely.
To so many people.
And we think, wow, our ancestors, they're past. But no, because energy cannot be destroyed. It only can be transformed. And I know this through doing mediumship for many years, is our loved ones are always with us. And I do believe many of them have the karmic duty to help us. We just have to ask and read the signs, right? Another reason to become or to hone your intuitive skills is so that you can communicate with people on the other side, for not to do it professionally necessarily, but to be able to connect with your own crossed over loved ones. I think it's beautiful. It's what we see here is just a little bit of what's really going on in the world, I believe. And so when we start to think that way, I think our life really starts to open up and expand.
Yeah, that's a great way of describing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are a few of the things that you do. So tell us about your healing sanctuary.
Yeah, so it just fell in my lap. It's next to Isabel and Vincent's in Fairfield, Connecticut. We do crystal bowl baths. I do readings, intuitive coaching. I teach psychic development and mediumship on Tuesdays. Actually, I just came from there. So very exciting. What else do we do? Constellation work. This Thursday will be Evening of Healing, which I've done for probably 15 years. And that is just donation based, and people come and it's a guided meditation, but also we call in like angels and saints. And people show up, whether it's physical healing they need, emotional support, mental support, whatever they're going through in life. It's a nice thing to do, to show up for yourself. It's a I think of a way of loving yourself.
Yeah, self-care, really.
Self-care is huge.
Yeah.
And my own discovery is a lot of us came in with unworthiness. And I know I did. Where this comes from, I can't tell you, whether it's lineage, it could be lineage, past lineage, that's an energy that you pick up. But how you correct that, heal that, is through self-love and self-care. That I know without a doubt.
Yeah.
You start to feel worthy.
Yeah, yeah, that's wonderful. So that's a great way to start, because I was going to ask you, like, how would you recommend people to get started in this whole process of either healing or learning more about their intuition?
That's a good question. I think follow your path, whatever you are gravitating towards, whatever path that is, whether that's a healing modality. There's so much out there now, right? So many people know Reiki or different kinds of healing. It's hands-on. It doesn't even have to be, right? It can be trance healing. It can be a various array. Is to follow that. Take a course. Show up for yourself. Intuition. Develop your intuition. There's plenty of courses online or in person. Find that. And then that, I promise, will lead us. One thing begets another. We're like sponges when you're in this healing arts.
Yes, and the doors just keep opening.
Absolutely.
That's what I love. It's like the things that you, like I said, that you don't know. So you start to discover. And to me, it's not about, quote, knowledge, like in your head knowledge. It's about experiential knowledge, or experiencing something, because we can talk to people all day and all night. And it's helpful, it gets in a little bit, but I think just being there and experiencing it, like what you're offering, the evening of healing, the classes, it's the thing that I love to tell people when I work with them is it's all good and it's all for you.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing to be afraid of or unsure of. It's for you, for your highest and best good.
Absolutely. I was sharing with someone in my class today. He was saying, do I listen to my mind and my ego and do what I think is going to make me the most money? Or do I immerse myself in these different modalities that my soul is pulling me and beckoning me to, and not sure where that's going to go? And I said,
what feels right?
What's going to make you feel fulfilled? And the money will come, because when you love and you get excited and get lit up over something that you're doing, money is energy.
Right.
It's going to come because you're going to be putting out beautiful energy that the universe will support.
Yeah.
And the way that comes back to you is through, if you want to say, paying your bills.
Yeah.
And knowing that your worthiness, right? Because we do have some subconscious beliefs that could get in the way, which is frustrating because we don't know exactly what they are because they're on the subconscious level. We're not aware. But if you just start to follow your path, raise your vibration, and when I say raise your vibration, it's not from here, because that is not going to do it.
No.
It's to learn how to light you up from in here. So raise your vibration within your heart, and I guess making that congruent with your third eye, your pineal gland. Those two will start to raise your vibration and get you in alignment with all that is. And then the intuition starts coming clearly, right? Your guidance, your inner mystic, and the healing abilities come. And so there's a lot of people focus on the manifesting. You don't have to worry about that when you're living congruently, in alignment with the law of one, because when your vibration expands and you put out beautiful energy, and I'm not saying this is an easy path, because we all can go into judgment and hate. We are having a human experience. But the goal is to, every morning, I believe that we're responsible to calibrate our own frequency. And what does that look like? It's meditating, it's grounding, it's gratitude.
Yes.
All of those things, we got to put the time in if we want our life to change. And that's connecting. It's being dedicated, devoted to making those changes.
Yeah. Wow. It's beautifully said. Yeah, it does. It takes a will. And I think, like you're saying, aligning our will with the will of the divine is also a great way to have a life that you love. Because things just start to come. much
Absolutely.
easier. I've experienced that.
Totally. When we're in alignment, I believe the doors open up. The path becomes very clear. And just in the way you feel, that fulfillment. I think about so many people that go to work 9 to 5 and or whatever, 9 to 7, 8 to 7, and don't feel fulfilled because they need the money, right? So that's a limiting belief that we all have and we all go through at one time or another, but we forget about the divine and we forget about how powerful we truly are. And again, it's not something you can maintain and sustain from your mind. It's got to be from the heart, your third eye, and you really need to work at calibrating your energy.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, this is great conversation. I'm really looking at the clock to see how much time we have left. And one thing I want to hear about before we wrap up, I know you mentioned it, you're starting a new event or something's coming up.
Okay, so the
soon.
workshop.
Want to talk about that, the workshop?
Yeah, so March 29th, I'm going to have it periodically, and I will probably offer it online eventually.
Okay.
But it's called
The Art of Alchemy?
Yes, so transformation. So it's really for the people I spoke about, anyone that's a healer, a starseed, or just feels different, right? Feels they don't fit in and knows they're intuitive, but really wants to develop that. So it'll be a day of developing your intuition.
Oh, great, great.
Understanding the power of prayer, effective prayer,
Uh-huh.
and how to utilize that to create healing, and just understanding how to power up. So this internal power that I've been speaking about, learning how to activate that within yourself, how to activate your light body, right, which is really, we're all light bodies. It'll be a day, all-day event for people that really feel they want to open up their abilities and live at a higher level consciousness.
Can it be for people who are curious and want to explore, they're beginners?
They can. It'll be for everyone.
Everybody.
Yeah, and you'll get what you need to get from it. I always say that because
Nice.
I'm going to call in the divine, our guides, our angels,
Yes.
and we will definitely get whatever you need from it.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie.
Well,
Such a pleasure.
Yeah, it was great talking to you today, and thank you for being here. Thank you to our audience for joining us today on Conscious Conversations with my guest, Sage Osa. And thank you to the Westport Library for hosting us, as always, with Verso Studios. We love you guys, and hope to see you the next time. Namaste.